Is it?
Yeah, it's recording.
Hey!
There.
Okay, so my phone's memory went, so we're using a different device. So
Yeah.
part 2, here we go. So we're kind of just like starting to where we left off-ish, because we don't remember quite where we left off, but I was going to say, one of the changes that some people were upset about that I actually liked was Beverly, because that was actually the part that I was most nervous about, was her dad being, he's abusive. And in the miniseries, it's touched on tiny bit.
Yeah.
In the book, it is just the whole point of Beverly. She doesn't really get too much. She's got a lot of character development in the book, and they're all very different dimensions of character. But it's kind of who she is in the book.
Yeah.
I like that the movie changed that up a bit.
Yeah.
Instead of him being physically, he is definitely physically abusive.
Yeah, I mean, he was, like, hurting her wrist in that one scene.
Yes, he was. But I don't recall, and fans of the book let me know if this is not true, I don't recall the sexual abuse. So I think that was... I was surprised by that when I was watching the movie, because I was like, oh... I don't recall that.
Yeah.
But, it's been a while since I read the book. So.
Yeah.
But
it's creepy. Like, how, like, possessive he is, and just, like, you're my little girl, and
gosh.
don't want anybody else around you, and it's just, like, one of those boys around you, and...
Why'd you cut
like,
your hair? You look like a boy. No, she doesn't. It was, like, the length of my...
She looks like a girl with short hair.
She's like, adorable. She kind of looked really different to me with the long hair. I kind of preferred her with the short hair.
Yeah, actually, like, I was a little confused when the movie started and we see her with long hair. I was like, wait a second, didn't she have short hair in the trailer? And it's like, oh, she cuts it, okay.
It's like, okay, character development, that's why she cuts her hair in the movie because he's sexually abusive and she's had enough and she's like, I'm done with you.
Her acting in the scene where the blood explodes out of the sink, she was really good in that whole scene.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I think that part, people who've seen the miniseries, that part's very different. It's not his nose coming out of the sink and then popping. It is a lot more blood.
Yeah, it's like a geyser of blood, just...
floods the bathroom.
Yeah.
She is covered in it.
Yeah.
And it remains there, which is why they go clean it up.
Yeah.
It's not a nose that comes out of the sink, it's hair from the other victims.
Yeah.
And they're grabbing
and it's trying to, like, drag her into the sink, and it's like, yeah.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It was like, are we watching it or Carrie right now? Like, oof.
Yeah.
But well done.
It was.
Very well done. And when the dad comes in and the actor had to literally pretend like he can't see it, that was really well performed too. Because he's like, why'd you cut your hair? What's wrong? What's going on with you? And it's like she's covered in it.
Yeah.
Like she's spitting it out of her mouth. And she's just like, how do you not see this?
Yeah.
I know you're an idiot, but how much of you?
Yeah.
Another plot point that I thought was interesting, Eddie's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not just a overprotective mom, like, Eddie can't play tomorrow, he's got to be safe. She's evil.
Yeah, she just has this really, like, creepy aura about her.
This
it's like...
really, yeah. And the miniseries kind of, again, I'm nothing against the miniseries. Okay, quite a bit against the miniseries, because it just wasn't that scary. But some of the things that I myself had flaws with in the miniseries, one particular flaw was that the adults figuring out that Derry Maine is evil and that it's grounded on evil, and just like the way they figured it out is that Beverly was about to be beat up by a bunch of kids, a bunch of bullies, and some old man walked back into the house. In this movie, it's very obvious there is something very wrong. There is a lot of looking the other way. There is a lot of trapping the kids. There is a lot of just... And so the moment when Eddie confronts his mom about the bullcrap that she's pulling on him with meds is like... Her face, I was like, is she going to become Pennywise? Because she's acting like Pennywise.
She gives him this really creepy look after he confronts her about pills.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Not trying to say that she didn't care about him. I think she cared about him a little bit, like, too much.
Yeah, when Eddie runs off, she's like, she really does sound, upset, and not not like just angry upset, but just like,
Yeah.
I'm worried about you upset. But
It is, yeah.
she was still creepy.
It is
And it's
very,
like,
yeah. It's almost as if she knew about the clown, and she's trying to keep Eddie inside so that he can't
Yeah.
get attacked by the clown. Because that's how it felt. It was like she was really mean to the other kids. She spoke to Beverly. I'm like, don't talk to a 12 to 13-year-old girl that way.
yeah.
Like, I've heard about you and the things you've done. I'm like, yeah, well, she's probably heard a lot about you, but you don't see her going around talking about how weird you are. And, it almost kind of felt like she knew. It feels like people know.
Yeah.
And this
It does.
movie did a really good job at that. Like,
Yeah.
where the kids, who are a little bit more intelligent in this one, are the ones who figure it out. They're like, this town is messed up, and we can either leave or we can do something
They don't
about
even
it.
in the movie. They don't even try going to the adults about anything.
No.
They're just like, we're handling it.
We're gonna
It
get
doesn't
them.
even cross their mind. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's up to us to
We
like
gotta do this.
defeat this evil. It's
Yeah,
like,
and it's self-sacrificing because they were given. There is in the end, and we're going to talk about this part because it's my favorite scene and my favorite quote from the movie. It has to be when the kids are down in the sewer, and there's a lot of changes that I can't go too much into, but there is a moment where Pennywise is telling the kids, "Let me eat Billy, and you guys can go." And you get to live long, happy lives, and you'll never see me again. Because he only comes out 27 years. He feeds, and then he goes into hibernation. So they have this opportunity to leave. And Richie, the character Richie, played by Finn, who is the reason we kind of went and saw the movie in the first place. Finn and Richie are just perfect casting, and Richie and Eddie are the best part of this movie. Like
they're so funny,
funniest
and the way they
characters.
play off each other. It's like
They are. I couldn't believe how much I laughed in this movie because
it's
of
a
those
very
two.
funny movie. But
it's funny. But yeah, so Richie is like this awesome speech, and then he just pulls this bat and just goes, welcome to the losers, asshole, and just smacks Pennywise.
I'm like, yes. I just kind of
like-
wanted to like clap at that part.
I did
It's like-
clap. I clapped. I was like, there were a few moments where we wanted to applaud.
I kind of was actually, I was hoping that people would applaud at the end of the movie, but they didn't,
Yes.
and I would have felt awkward being the only one that
Yes.
did, but I
Like,
kind
oh
of
my
wanted
God,
to, because I'm like, that was
come
just
on.
a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Like, all around good
And
movie.
people stayed
It's like-
after to talk about how much they loved
Yeah.
the movie, but there wasn't any applause. And I felt like there were a lot of moments with the kids where I was like, yeah. Well, they did. There was some cheering with the rocks. And they were throwing rocks
Was
at the
there?
boys. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially when Richie made that one comment afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
I won't say. He gets to be very vulgar in this, which is kind
Yeah.
of fun for Finn.
Yeah, it's a very different character from Mike in Stranger Things.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
Night and day.
but
really.
he's, yeah, but...
He's kind of, Mike in Stranger Things is Billy in It. You care about him. Billy is a very important character, and his relationship with George is just heart-wrenching.
Billy's more of a reserved character.
He's a very reserved
He's more
character.
quiet and reserved and
He's the hero.
more like Mike in
The
Stranger
leader.
Things. And
Yes.
Richie is like, he's crude, he's loud, he's constantly talking, and he's super funny. It's like
Every word out of his mouth is a pickup, like a stand-up line.
yeah.
And it's hilarious, and Eddie is his best friend, and he and Eddie just the back and forth with them.
But you know, part
So
of what was
funny.
good about Richie's character was that like he wasn't just cracking jokes the whole time, and
Yeah.
I was actually a little bit afraid that they were maybe going to kind of go that route because
Yeah.
like at a certain point in the movie, it's like okay, all the other characters have like kind of had more development than Richie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they just going to have him be like the wisecracking like Joker type till the very end of the movie?
Yes.
But then they don't go that route. They do give him more dimension.
They do.
And they do have him have some more emotional scenes, and
Very.
it's like you definitely see that he cares for the group.
He really
And
cares.
It's like
Yeah, when he finally starts to, because the order of the kids being stalked around is changed. The way that he does it is changed. Eddie's, for those who've read the book, seen the miniseries, Eddie and Stanley's confrontation with Pennywise, or first encounter, is switched. so Eddie sees things that Stanley saw in the miniseries, only scarier, much scarier. Richie takes a while to finally see what everyone is seeing, and when it finally does come to a point in the way that he is terrified, Finn's performance is brilliant. He stays in character. He's not just, like, suddenly being a completely different character, and he's still making funny jokes to himself to try and not be afraid, but the moment where, there's this moment where maybe you guys have seen in the trailer, where he sees his missing sign, the missing poster. His reaction is actually heart-wrenching. He's like, oh, guys, I go missing, like...
I mean, that's like the first point in the movie where you see this really, like, just, like, raw, like, emotion from him, because, he's like, just terrified, but up till before that, I mean, he's kind of like,
he's like, you guys are nuts.
Even though things are creepy, he sort of takes everything in stride. It's he
does. It's like Stanley's getting haunted by this picture of this creepy woman, and he's like, I saw this woman, and he goes, was she hot? And I laughed, but Stanley's like, no, she was not hot. Like, will you take this serious, please? There is a moment where they're actually telling Richie, like, you need to take this serious. But then there were moments that were funny because of the reactions of the kids, of how terrified they were because they're kids. One in particular, after a particular thing that did not happen in the book or the miniseries, so I'll be curious to hear what people have to say about it. Eddie is, like, they are terrified. It is a terrifying scene. You're kind of like, and then they're all freaking out, and Eddie broke his arm, and Richie's like, I'm gonna set it. He's like, don't touch me! Don't touch me! And we were just laughing.
I wasn't expecting it to be funny at that part, but he's like, don't touch me! And it's like, just the way he delivers that line. It's just like, oh my gosh. I'm cracking up.
We were all laughing, and I think it was meant to be funny, because it's just like, I'm gonna set the arm.
But,
yeah.
They insert humor into a lot of like areas of the film.
They do. Which, segue, that is one thing that really sets it apart from a lot of horror movies, the development of these characters. There's a lot of moments, and you even said, where it doesn't even feel like a horror movie.
Yeah. It was, like, so weird. I was just, like, thinking, just, like, while we were sitting there watching the movie, like, I mean, there's, like this really pretty, like, bright daylit, scenes that don't look like they have any place in a horror movie. And it's like, they look like they could be from a totally different movie. And it's like, if someone were to walk in at the movie at that point, they'd be like,
oh, this isn't scary.
This doesn't look scary at all.
This looks nice.
And, but...
It's a bunch of kids getting to know each other.
It'll very quickly shift to, like, a scary moment. Yeah.
And you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
You can tell
the music,
when it's building up to
atmosphere,
a scary moment, but...
They let you know. But yeah, a lot of it has to do with the bonding moments where they're just, like, hanging out.
Yeah, they're just being kids.
It's really like, cool.
Yeah.
And they're not digging a ditch. They're jumping in the water.
Yeah.
They're talking about what they're gonna do for their summer vacation. They're getting to know Ben, because he's new, and they're getting to know him, and they're asking him about his life and everything. And they're all going to each other's houses and getting to know each other just by, like, their home life and everything. And those moments, it's like if you walked in, you'd just be like, oh, this is a bonding movie about a bunch of kids who are outsiders. They call themselves the losers.
Yeah.
Richie labels them the losers, and you wouldn't even, But then there's this one moment that starts as a bonding scene, becomes the most terrifying moment in the movie.
Which was that?
The garage scene.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, dang.
Okay, so, like, the part of the garage where it's, like, Pennywise, like, pops out of the, like, thing. Like, did that kind of look like a practical effect, actually? Because to me, that looked like a practical effect. It didn't look like CGI. But it was a really quick scene. It was so quick that I wasn't sure if it was CGI or not. But I felt like most of the CGI was really obvious in the movie, but that, I think, might have been a practical effect, but I'm not really sure.
It did look practical. So I think I agree with you, because it looked very real.
And that's why it was, like, super effective because of that. I don't know what they did. Maybe it was part practical effects and part CGI, but something about that part made it look really like it was there. And it was really...
And that was really cool.
Yeah.
I think so, because that was very, very frightening.
Yeah.
That was a huge jit in the miniseries when they're just kind of looking at the scrapbook, and then all of a sudden he appears in the picture, and he's all like, "I'm gonna kill you guys," and they're all just like, "Ah!"
Just
it's
close the book.
Close the book, which they do try in the movie when scary things are happening in a book. They're just like, and then he just comes after them another way because these kids are just a little bit more intelligent in this one. But in this time, it's one of those I don't even know what it's called. It's where you put a film down on a wheel and it goes through.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name for it, but
we do our research here at JK Reviews. It's scarier because they're like, shut it off, and it won't shut off.
Yeah.
And it just gets really, really freaky.
Yeah.
Right. That moment was so well done. It was just, that one was, so, yeah, it was really good. It was a good movie. I could see it again.
Yeah.
I actually could.
Do you want to talk about the music a little bit? Like
Let's talk
it
about
had
the
it had a
music.
really good soundtrack.
It had an amazing soundtrack. Not just the 80s music, but also the creepy music that was used.
Mm-hmm. It's just the music just made it so like atmospheric.
It did.
And the way they filmed it just was really good.
It was
the film work. It's like
And it was interesting because I remember it was funny because I'm sitting there waiting for the movie to start. We had a lot of trailers.
Yeah.
Some horror movies, some comedies, some movies that were coming out. We had a lot of trailers, and it kind of got to a point where I was like, this is not a trailer? Because it just didn't have a sudden, like, enjoy the show type moment. It just kind of started.
Yeah.
And the minute that the lights dimmed, and you hear the creepy song playing, and I'm just kind of sitting there, I'm like, is this the movie? And then it just kind of goes in, and it starts in this very, like, beautiful rainfall, and the creepy music playing over the rainfall, and then you see Georgie and Billy, and then you see the credits of, like, the people who are in the movie, and then you get to Georgie's death, and then it shows the title.
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna hurt.
And I like
that was scary.
It's like a small thing, but I like that the title of the movie wasn't shown like in an obnoxious way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just very like very very quick and not very flashy. It was just like, and then it just goes right into the movie.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's a memorable opening.
Yeah,
which is lacking nowadays.
Yeah,
memorable openings. Lately, movies just kind of the title sequence pops up, and then you get into the movie, and sometimes the best part is the build up, and this movie had a really good build up.
It did,
and that was.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, like, if the ending would be good, but it does have a good ending.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. We stayed till the end to see, like, if maybe they were going to give some kind of clue, because this is part 1. Part 2 is going to be the adults. They're adults going back to Derry. I'll be very curious to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because they are going to have to get some really good actors, because these kids just phenomenal.
Yeah. They really were.
It's rare that the adults are like, okay, I have to be as good as this kid, especially Finn. They need an actor who can be really funny and really, like, those one-liners just...
I know, yeah. Like, my fear is, like, with the second movie that they might not, like, seem like the same characters.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they still seem like, adult versions of the same characters. Not, like, totally different people.
Yes.
But just, like...
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I think that... I mean, they did a really good job with the casting of the kids, so...
Yeah.
If they get the same people who did the casting to cast the adults, I think that will be okay. But yeah, that is a little nerve-wracking. And again, I'm curious, like, how afraid of you are you going to be going back to Derry after the way that they took on the clown in this? Like, how's he going to scare them?
I don't know. I'm really curious, like, how are they gonna, like, amp up the scares?
Yeah.
Are they gonna make it more intense because they're going to be, like, adults? I mean, so I don't know how they're gonna really make it more intense. This one was pretty intense as it is.
Pretty intense. And they made it very clear in this one that Pennywise goes after kids.
Yeah.
So these adults coming back to Derry, I mean, I would feel like Pennywise would be the one who's like, So... that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. Sadly, they didn't I don't know if like productions even started or anything, so we didn't get to see anything. We waited till the end to see if something was going to pop up. We just got to laugh at the end.
Yeah.
Like Pennywise laughing.
Yeah, there's no extra scene after the credits.
No extra scene.
But that's okay. But
I know, we've been spoiled by Marvel. So, it was really fun. It was a fun experience.
it was. It really was.
It was a good movie.
Definitely recommend.
Yeah. If you don't, honestly, it's like, if you don't want to see it because it's scary, you'll enjoy the heart of it. You'll enjoy the character development. If you enjoy a good scare, you're definitely in for a treat. If you just want to go experience, a childhood memory, it won't disappoint. It doesn't trash on your child. It has a lot of respect for the original content.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes out one particular scene from the book that didn't need.
That will not be mentioned.
We don't need
that people who read the book probably know what scene we're talking about. But it was not in the movie. I think everyone knew it probably wasn't going to be in the movie.
Yeah, don't
I
put
mean,
that in
like,
the movie.
yeah.
We don't need that in the movie, that particular scene. I'll be laughing if the comments are like, what scene? What are you talking about?
Yeah, if you've read the book, you know exactly what we're talking about. But
so yeah, that is, I think, it. Do you have anything else to say? That's it. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yeah, I think that's go see it.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
if you're a horror fan, you're gonna love it.
I don't think you'll regret it. Yeah,
if you love Stranger Things, you're gonna love Finn's performance.
Yeah, it's a very different character, but he pulls it off really well. Really, shows he has really good acting range. So.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch this kid take off. I can't wait. All of these kids are gonna take off.
I think all of them have like a promising acting
great
careers.
movie for them to slingshot into fame.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that is it. Leave your comments if you want, or don't. That's fine. If there's any movie, the September reviews are mainly going to be, it's Ruth Connell month. So, in honor of the lovely Ruth Connell, Kayla and I, and Debbie, if she wants to join us, we'll be reviewing movies, TV shows, and any type of guest star appearances by Ruth Connell. So that's going to be the month of September, and then October we'll be doing, of course, the Halloween themed stuff, and we might watch the mini-series just for entertainment.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see what you think of it.
If I can suffer through it.
I don't know. Through it. Like, turn it off, I can't stand.
If it's at least funny, I think I can probably get through it.
It's very entertaining. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys have a great night, and, they really do all float. It's true. He's not lying. You'll find out what I mean in the movie. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.